Vazgen, Yuri, it's very, very nice to meet you in person. It's a privilege to work with you. The background, the company that you have, very, very impressive. I'm not going to delve too much into your backgrounds, but talk a bit about your mentions a bit. Yuri is also had a very strong background from various places, including Superannotate, one of our top tech AI companies, most successful ones. But let's start and then we'll go through various questions that we have. I'm very, very much looking forward to this conversation. So let's just go forward with this. Vazgen, can you tell a bit about yourself, your background, and what made you decide to build that website?
Definitely. First of all, thank you for having us here today. It's super exciting. I'm a product person, so I've been in product management for 15 years, and I'm someone who likes seeing a problem and then figuring out how to solve that problem. So I started my first company back in 2011 in Silicon Valley. I was at school, at university. I saw a problem that I experienced, my peers experienced, and we built a company called Outboarder. It was profitable. We were paying our tuitions from the money that we were making from that company. And I think that was the foundation for me to start building things. And that's how I got into product management. And I spent time in Silicon Valley working at startups, bigger tech. I was at Yandex for about 5 years, I would say. It was back in Moscow. And in my last role there, I was the head of AI and machine learning products. I was the chief product officer at Oppo, which is one of the top streaming platforms in the region. But for me, it was always about going back to the roots and starting a company. So in the back of my mind, I was like, what are the problems that I care about? What are the problems where there is a high founder market fit? So I can go after these problems and start fixing them. So
Yeah.
I've been a product advisor helping multiple companies. I saw a lot of problems with a shared similar pattern, and then can dive a bit deeper into why Evidenso. But it's the passion of going back to the roots of building from zero.
Yeah.
So 15 years.
So this is one thing that I hear come across a lot. Successful founders are usually ones that even in their early lives initially started building something, started selling something. So
Right.
I guess
Actually,
that resonates with me at least. So,
yeah, actually, my first company was when I was how old? I was 14.
14.
So, and it was in Moscow as well. I was there is a program called Junior Achievement. They help with student entrepreneurship. We became the best company in Russia, like winning a competition in Moscow, and then in Kazan. So, and then we represented Russia in Europe, in Netherlands, competing amongst 32 best student companies in the world. So,
wow, already at 14, that's not my background.
that was super exciting. I think that was the key, seeing this international environment with the desire to do things, for larger
Yeah,
audiences.
you mentioned this a bit, but why is this, do you think, in the current day and age, this is a problem that needs to be solved? Why specifically this problem that Evidenso is kind of targeting?
Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about the problem. So I've worked in B2B environments, working with government, healthcare, financial institutions. And for product management and for creating products, there's one key thing you have to do. It's matching the user needs with the business goals. So that's if there's one thing product managers need to do, it's figuring out the equation. So and figuring out that equation is a big challenge if you don't have direct access to your customers. And in B2B environments, again, especially in regulated tech, it's incredibly difficult for product teams, for product managers to actually interview your clients on a regular basis, do usability tests, figure out like which specific version of design is better or what feature to build.
Yeah.
And this leads to very, very high adoption, actually a failure rate of features and very low rate of adoption. So there is some data that says 96% of features fail to get adoption or they have very limited amount of adoption. And so, and the core reason for that is that product people, product teams, they don't have enough access to their customers. So if you live and breathe your customer, you're going to be in a much better shape and pitch and launch features that actually matter.
Well, that's an interesting number, 96% that will come across.
Yeah.
That's quite very high. So whatever, how Evidenso is positioning itself as, say AI and Claude and all these things are making software very easy to build.
Yep.
But the point of emphasis right now for your positioning is that deciding what to build, what features, products, functionality is the key kind of key issue right now. And that kind of goes back to your point. Um, how do you think this is a bottleneck, and why would you say, solving this is a good thing?
Yeah, so we've started working on Evidenso about 7 months ago, a bit sooner, like we had the first sketches of the ideas. And building wasn't as easy as it is right now. And we actually observed, we were the ones learning, how this building process goes, like from day one, from day zero, when there wasn't an actual engineering communities. And what we see is like with the launch of more superior models like Opus 4.6, engineering has gotten so easy. Like, of course, there is still a lot of, you have to maintain the code, but it's not like we talk to a lot of product managers. We talk to dozens and hundreds of product managers regularly, and we see that building part is really, really much more accessible these days. So, and companies like Anthropic are actually hiring more product managers than engineers, like from what we have observed from the interviews. So, and the reason is that agents are really good building. One engineer can do the work of five engineers compared to before. So, but what are they supposed to do? That's the big question. So, what exactly? So, but figuring out, what your customers need, what are their pain points, what do they want to achieve long term? That's still pretty much the same process as before.
Yeah.
So building has accelerated, but the speed of market intelligence, the speed of talking to customers, it's the same. So you have this big, essentially, challenge at the front of the problem, while building has accelerated. So that's why we believe that we need to put market intelligence and insights on how to build things on the same level as the
No, that's interesting. And while building is quicker, more efficient, it's still costly, right? If they start building things that are not needed, it still drives up the cost. That's what we hear come across at various places. So yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, token price is also a big thing. Right now, all the companies are experimenting and spending a lot on AI tokens just to see how things work. But we see more and more companies are actually being more cost efficient, and they're like, okay, so we're spending too much tokens. Like it's, you might have seen these leaderboards of companies trying to AI token maxing, but it's almost like a trend, and the companies were they had leaderboards of engineers, and not only engineers, like on how much AI tokens they've used. And but what does it say? It says nothing about the real value for the customer service.
Actually, or trying to optimize that.
Exactly.
Not maximizing the token usage. And let's go to the product itself, right?
Yep.
What is so actually kind of doing? And for someone that's hearing this for the first time, what's that actual product?
Definitely. So I'll just say the high level mission that we have is like building what matters. I think that this is what we breathe. This is what we believe in. That's how we embody what Evidenso is. And the best way to think about Evidenso is imagine having your customers, as a product team, in the room with you whenever you're making product decisions. Whether you have an idea, hypothesis, you are working on a design, you are thinking about an A/B test, we can go through from an idea to an execution-ready artifact with your customers participating in the whole process. So what we do is we create digital twins, copies of customers that represent diverse perspectives. We build a very deep market intelligence of how your customers think, follow, what are the mindsets they have, what are their cognitive evaluation criteria, how they make purchasing decisions. And it could be based on internal data or external data. We have very sophisticated pipelines on how we create this. So, and we embed this into your product development process. And our core focus right now is essentially building an MCP, so that you get these insights in the building process. So we make the friction essentially go away because product managers, engineers lead in products and plot right now with Cursor. We actually have a lot of customers in Cursor. So we embed your customer in that workflow.
Okay. What's an LCP for?
So MCP is essentially a connector, like an easy way to think about. So so that it's a protocol that Anthropic developed, so that different services and software can connect to Codex, Quad, Cursor. So it's just a transport essentially.
Sounds good. And just let's talk a bit about the customers. That's kind of important, right? Maybe mentioning some names, mention others, which are confidential probably. Just give us a couple of examples of the customers that are, how many they are, what's been the progress thus far, and maybe a real life customer case that's you've kind of used that. So
Yeah, we have 5 customers right now with signed terms. And it's mostly seed to Series C customers. It's startups, but more developed startups. They need to have at least one product manager in the team. So, so it's head of product or product manager as the target audience for us. And we do a lot of dog fooding, by the way. So we have simulated societies of all our customers as well. So, and we mostly focus on customers that work in regulated tech. We're fintech dominant. It's mostly companies like engineering that sells to wealth managers, financial advisors. And this audience is incredibly hard to reach. So for them, I was talking to a VP of product and he was telling me, oh, we can actually, if we are lucky, we get 10 minutes a month with the wealth manager that we want to interview. And they sell multi-million dollar contracts. They're very big. They are a Series B company, but they don't have enough time, enough access to their own customers to actually decide what to do. So what we do is we create synthetic versions of wealth managers so that we can embed them into Quad products and they can iterate on their roadmap, on their decisions, on their ideas. So, we essentially help them accelerate the product discovery cycle and improve and launch features that are more successful. And we increase the adoption rate of features that actually end up shipping in production. So we also work with unicorn client. I can't name the name of the customer, but they're super excited. They want to roll it out to their whole department. We take it step by step, but there is also potential in bigger clients as well, because user research is a critical part of any product development organization.
Yeah, very cool. And Yuri, I mean, your background, I mean, you can talk about it. But you're the founding AI engineer at Evidenso.
Yep.
So a couple of questions. On the technical side, and this will certainly go over my head probably, but so why wouldn't engineers be able to do what Evidenso does with tools like Cloud Code or Cursor or ChatGPT?
Yeah, I think as Vazgen already mentioned, you can use like everyone right now try to use AI everywhere, but you need to understand like this ChatGPT or whatever is just generalized model. So it's contain a lot of data from the internet, and it's got like the distribution of the data. It's like provide you general feedback. For example, if you would like to collect feedback from customers, or you would like to replicate real people, your customers, you need to understand their pain points, and you need to like understand all niche and all cases of customers. But in case of general LLMs, you just got like generalized answer and it's not give you insights. And also, if you talk about like the market intelligence, Vazgen also mentioned, it's our internal intelligence of what happened in the market. Yeah, it's also can be built on uh, like well access data, like internet, but we are structure it and analyze deeper. So if you use like just web search tool in your ChatGPT and retrieve also the like some external data, like uh, uh, part of data from the internet to your current session in ChatGPT, it will be like surface level. Like it's not too deep. You can find any like good insights for your product mission, like your product discoveries.
Interesting.
Can I add one? Of course. So I think the best way to visualize this differentiation is to imagine just a normal distribution of answers, right? So this is just a curve, right? So and ChatGPT is all about the middle. So as you're saying, it's the general feedback that you get. So what Evidenso does, it pushes to the edges. So let's imagine a normal distribution of opinions of customers in your segment. ChatGPT will give you the right average, which would be a truthful and useful answer. But in our case, we try to capture all the edges, all the specific workflows and specific examples that could be helpful for retrieving more nuances and more qualitative data, not only quantitative.
Yeah.
So we do both.
Yeah, and a bit more general question over to you and Vazgen as well. You'd like to get your input on this too. There's a lot of discussions uh, between the infrastructure layer and the application layer, right? Will in all of these labs transition up towards kind of application layer? What's your position? What's your thoughts on that kind of discussion and debate going on right now? Will tools like Claude Code or ChatGPT move up to the application layer and compete with the companies in that layer, building products in the vertical verticals?
Yeah, I think we need to like diverse a bit because a lot of people right now, I think, can confuse between like LLM in, for example, Claude codex or something. It's not just the pure model. Yeah, pure model can just generate next token in your sequence, but their products right now it's also can contain a lot of different features. So it's depending on like what they involve. For example, right now, I think a lot of this developer of the LLMs put like more effort to coding. Yeah, so we saw a lot of coding agents, etc. So they're good enough in this direction. But for example, if you're talking about product management part, uh, I don't remember that really anyone can solve it and the good stuff. So it's just you can use it also right now. Just try, for example, in your cowork or ChatGPT to repeat and ask something about the product management, but it will be just the this middle of the distribution. Yeah, they're not like fine tuning and prepare your model, especially for this case. So this model and their product is too big, so you can use it for some, I don't know, any tasks, but it's not good enough.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people end up with the same kind of filters. Anything to add there, wasn't?
I would say that with Codex and Claude, Anthropic and OpenAI are trying to build the product for all knowledge workers. When you try to build for all knowledge workers, I mean, they're incredible companies, Anthropic and OpenAI, amazing. But building a product for everyone requires a very specific focus by itself, right? So I mean, they are striving for that. They have a lot of capacity to do that. So, and trying to solve products for more specific niches is just going against their own mission of building an AGI, against the mission of building the knowledge, a tool for all knowledge workers. So, there is an example of cloud design, for example, right? So cloud design, they've launched a feature, but I'm actually curious to interview the audience, like how many people actually use cloud design. It's a great product. We've tried using it in different ways, but didn't stick because you have Figma for all for last pixels, making sure that works really well. Or you can just use code itself or Codex for design and code design isn't too much data. So the point is, yes, they're trying to do some application layer stuff, but I think their larger mission is for on the application layer is to build this tool, this super app for knowledge workers, in general. So, and that's like the frameworks like MCP, they're building marketplaces. So my personal belief is this is the best time for SaaS software. Like a lot of people are talking, oh, there's SaaS apocalypse and all the SaaS is going to die. No, it's not going to happen. Yes, there is going to be some changes in the landscape. Some companies that don't do that, they're going to die. But long term, there's going to be more users. Like there's like some opinions on this as well that there's going to be more users of SaaS because it's not only humans using SaaS, but it's also the agents. So agents through code and products are going to curate evidence. So, for example, to get the data they need to get the orchestration that we do on our side because it's very specific. It's for product management, for product discovery. They will take the process data that we do, and then they will use it in their agent workflows. So SaaS is going to be in a very good spot.
Okay, sounds good. And another question here. What's the biggest misconception about enterprise AI?
Yeah, I think maybe it's something similar to what I said before. So a lot of people, even like in an enterprise, think that's like the model, it's all like it can solve everything for you. So just if your model is not enough, just choose the bigger model, yeah?
Yeah.
But it's not really work like that. I mean, the LLM part is only just small piece, but a lot of like intelligence here is a harness. So it's like context. It's how you pass your orchestration between different models, how you like set up all this stuff around the LLM to achieve real product. So I think, in some cases, people can misunderstand and just think that LLM already is a problem.
Yes. And where do you guys end up on the debate, like building internally, whether companies start building their own agents, whether that's workable approach, or whether, buying solutions like Evidenso or others? Where do you end up? Like, what's the debate? There's also debate there. Should a company build itself everything, or should they buy?
Yeah, this is a natural continuation of the question of, is it a good time to build SaaS products? Obviously, we do believe that it's a good time to build software products, and I think there's still some processes and that you need to automate internally and you build yourself. These are things that are very custom to the workflows that you have internally, or specific to engineering. There are a lot of engineering processes that accelerate your work. Especially as a startup, we want to be very fast, as fast as possible. So we don't want to build things that are already built and we know that it solves our problem, like Notion, for example. Even though Notion doesn't really have anything unique, right? So it's building your own document system. We can do it like in a day if you want to. So, but we don't do it, at least at this stage. So, but we do have automations like we have an agent that sees production and staging alerts. So creates automatically a fix for that, creates a plan that fixes it, creates a merge request that one of the team members takes a look very quickly and just clicks approve. So it goes down from maybe an hour of figuring out what the problem was, tasking even the agent to build it. So we remove the human in the loop up until the last approval stage. So, and with this way, we essentially eliminate the time, we decrease the time of any errors in production very, very quickly. So ultimately, it's about, yes, if it's very easy to build internally, and if it is a very specific workflow that doesn't have a solution, it's much better to build it yourself. But if it is something that requires a lot of going sideways, if you have to spend even a week on something that doesn't focus on the core part of your business, then it's not worth it.
Yeah.
So it should be all about the North Star metrics you have, the very key, like building what matters, right? Even our mission is like build what matters. And we build what matters like internally, and we use those software whenever it's appropriate.
Yes.
We have a lot of software.
I've seen statistics, I've seen research saying the companies that try to build internally, maybe 90% of them don't succeed and just skip it. So they buy it afterwards. So Another question here is, what has been the hardest engineering challenge at Evidenso?
Yeah. Uh, I think actually it can be like different from different people in our team. For example, for Arman, it can be like another person, etc. But for me, the most challenging one, and it's really interesting, it's this digital twins. Because actually, when you work with some tasks, I don't know, like some automations or something, in some cases, it's task like I named as solved in our market, in our domain. For example, the easiest like explanation maybe when I started the career, we are work on like text classification tasks via machine learning, LLMs, etc. But it was like interesting. In some cases, you can come up with new architecture, etc. But right now, it's already solved task. So you can read a lot of papers. You know exactly how to build this. But for digital twins right now, it's like time when like a lot of people really in this time right now can like have experiments, write papers, but it's not so like to build real like digital twins, to replicate human behavior, like to I don't know, looks like humane of the AI and how to ground to real this market fit, yeah, like market analysis, grounding to insights and bring it to our problem. So
That's
this
very
part,
interesting.
yeah.
So there's not a lot of progress in that sector that you're in that domain where you're working on. So maybe, and probably if that's the case, the application possibilities should be much broader in the future. I don't know. Is that
I would say that there isn't. I think you were taught from engineering perspective. It's not cracked for sure. It's not cracked. There are a lot of companies that are building specifically in the digital domains field. There are actually companies that have raised like $100 million, which are building for FMCG goods companies, and it's actually amazing for us because the idea of trust, can you trust this like a digital tool as a product user? That's a bigger challenge on the business side of things. So from engineering side, yes, it's actually building them. And from business side, how do you create the trust layer and infrastructure where people using the product are actually seeing the connection and creating emotional connection? So companies are trying to solve that problem as well in different domains than we are, but with digital twins technology. So it's a technology that develops very quickly, but there's still huge room for improvement.
interesting? And good, interesting problems, good markets, and good teams attract other very good team
Yep.
members. So you had some updates recently that Arman with a very very strong background. With himself there is joining the team as well. He's background in Amazon, also kind of founder background. Can you talk about why did Arman decide to join, and how do you see the company strengthening from now onwards, and really helping out as well?
Yeah. Um, Let me think about that. Arman is super strong. Like to like he's ex Amazon, he's ex Antler. He has been through the same program as I've been through and David has been through. So he has a very entrepreneurial and founder mindset. So my approach to founding co-founders and founding members in general is that I'm not convincing people to join. Why? Because it is something that you have to feel the passion for the problem for the team. Those two things, like you need to have the connection. Because if you try to persuade someone, it becomes like, okay, is it your persuasion skills? Is that the negotiation, or the person genuinely believes in the problem, in the product, and so that you can build $1 billion company, like a generational company. So you have to have it internal. You have to have it, the fire inside you to go just after the problem and figure it out. So when we met Arman, I think we clicked immediately, like from I don't know, second zero. So on personal level, so we have a lot of shared backgrounds, like working in similar companies, being in London, Arman is in London, I'm based in London. So on different layers, similar interests, similar philosophy to how to build companies in general. Um, so we clicked on those layers and we started exploring a founding relationship. And every single day was essentially, yes, this works. So, and for both sides, there was energy, it's a synergy. And I think the same was felt from the team side as well. So it's
It was like the great fit, I think. Yeah. We are sharing. It's like, I think Arman just bring us a lot of like pressure also. Like we are just starts doing more and more new ideas. And it's very interesting for us, and it's for him to like when you share what we already knew.
Yeah. No, I think that the mission is the commitment to the mission and the vision are very key because you have to go through budget.
Yeah, that's what 100%. And I think for Arman as a startup founder, he's been this is our first company that he's building. This problem of building things that don't take off, that there's no adoption, is something that he feels personal as well. So for him, it is also important. Okay, how do we enable people, builders in general, to create things that actually matter? How do we enable everyone to be, the best possible builder that they can?
Yeah.
So I think there is a connection on all these layers. He'll be in the on soon, so maybe he'll comment. He'll comment on his side. I'm curious to hear his answer on this side. Why did he
Okay, very cool. And then this is my favorite question. I would say one of my favorite questions here. We have a very very strong, in-depth technical community with Equify, which we are very, thankful and privileged to have. And the question is the following: if these senior engineers or software engineers were in this room, what would each of you say to convince them that this is a great product?
I'll start with a question to the audience. Like wherever that, raise your hand if you have launched a feature that failed.
Very
So-
good, very good.
And I think 99% of engineers at one point of their career, or maybe every year of their career, have launched something that didn't work.
Or they had requests from the product managers to do something what they
Exactly.
that didn't work.
It's not because of engineers. So yeah, it's like a lot of times sales team brings and says, "Oh, build this." So or the product manager says, "Yes, let's build this," without like a lot of research, without not because they didn't do the research, but there is lack of time, there is pressure from executive team, there is pressure from a client. One client can come and say, an enterprise client, please build this.
Mhm.
You build it and they don't use it.
Yeah.
Why? Because there should be some real discovery. Why do they actually want this problem? So what problem is it solving? So going very deep and trying to figure out what the problems are. So, and I do believe that a lot of engineers have experienced this, right? So they've spent long hours, nights, building things that we have a deadline to ship something, and then you launch it, and then there's a moment of silence for the feature.
Yeah.
So I think this is what we've all felt. Lilith has been the first probably one that we've worked with Lilith before at Cubase in a company, with B2B regulated tech, and we've had this experience multiple times when we've been doing a lot of customer discovery to make it like properly deep. But it just takes too much time. Like interviewing government clients takes months, like scheduling, visiting, getting the real feedback. So I think that's the main argument for me, but maybe you will let something else.
The CEO comes and says, "Let's do something with AI."
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with arguments. I think he already, I already as an engineer ready to be like, yeah, I agree, and I can say that it is great. Yeah, so we gave you already convinced me. But it's like from my position, what I can say, we also need to understand like current trends. We already several times during our talk today say that this like development processes accelerate. So right now you can ship like and develop a lot, but we need to understand like what we need to develop, yeah? Because especially if we talk like even inside the enterprise, sometimes you as an engineer can come up with some idea and you would like to, I don't know, pitch to team. But before that, you would like to, I don't know, have some prototype, etc., and present it. But as an engineer, we don't have like real sense and like knowledge how to do this product work. Yeah. Also, I mean, it's from the engineering part for us, so we can use Evidenso to like understand it and like understand what is like good product, what is bad. So collect some feedback from potential customers, etc. So without this tool, we didn't like, yeah, it will be intuition, but in to be honest, yeah, engineering part, it's usually not so good, this intuition part, but it's also, yeah, we can like, we even don't know this all like, I don't know, things that products use, yeah, this discoveries, this like interviews, etc. So without good product, you even like can't do the good like decision of the product yourself. And yeah.
So maybe there's a scenario where the software engineers might be using evidence, so if they have their own ideas to what to do or not to do.
Yeah.
Actually, the most surprising feedback that we received was from engineers. So we've had organizational wide launches with some of the companies that we work with. And so we've launched the product, mostly product managers, designers are the primary product managers and designers as the main focus of our target. But some of the best feedback that we've received has come from engineers.
Oh, that's more impressive.
It was unexpected, to be honest. Like it was very unexpected, and they're like, this is they've had limited exposure to customers. Like traditionally, it's hard, for engineers to interact with customers because there are layers in between engineers and customers, so they don't have enough time to talk to them. So giving them exposure to customers in the form of aggregated data, in the form of digital twins, in the form of wherever they work inside MCP or inside other products, having the customer input on very specific micro decisions that engineers need to make even about the product, like gives them like an exciting feeling. Okay, now I get it. Like why I should do this like this. So, and the feedback that we received is like engineers are telling us that it decreased the time on alignment. They need less meetings with their product managers. So because they can just essentially create a customer discovery workflow inside our product, export it and share it with their product managers and say, oh, well, I want to do it like this. Is that fine? Product manager just text yes. Instead of meeting and meeting after meeting, they see the proof, essentially the evidence. So yeah, that was something that was quite interesting.
No, very interesting, because there are many people that we interact with, and some of them are considering, should I do this like a startup or not?
Yeah,
maybe this would be a tool to kind of gauge those ideas, whether they take off or not.
We have a lot of startup founders who want to use our product. Right now, we're a little bit we say let's wait a little bit because our focus is more on the more mature startups. No, I wouldn't say enterprise, but the middle segments. Series A to Series C are some C, but Series A to Series C are the main ones because they have some data. They know what they know their customer, and with a startup, your audience, your ICP, your target audience changes all the time, right? So it's like that's why we're the first phase ideally has to be done by the founders, by the team. But maybe at some point we'll launch like a version of the product for pre-seed companies as well.
Very good. Now, I sense a lot of alignment, a lot of agreement. Yuri, has there been any disagreements that you've come across?
Any disagreements you mean?
No, I mean like more like obviously you debate, you discuss, but there were any like disagreements for like vision, where we're going, anything like that, or is it a little bit over?
Not actually. I mean, from my side, I don't remember any case when we like disagree on the vision itself. Yeah, usually, first of all, I like truly understand this point and like problems, and then also like Vazgen's expertise and knowledge of this, like all the startups things and the product like management part. So not a vision. We can sometimes debate on like discuss, brainstorm some ideas, and we can have like different opinions about like how to solve this specific task or like how it should looks like. But yeah, we usually find the like options how to do that, and we are like in such case when we are both are happy with it. Yeah.
If we disagree, we use the digital twins of Evidenso to help us make the decision.
Very cool. Okay, so let's see here. This is also an important question. I mean, uh, Antler, which is like international, one of the most reputable early stage investors across the globe, decided to invest in back Evidenso. What do you think they saw in Evidenso for that decision to be made?
That's a great question. I think we're also part of Balderton launch program. I was featured in a Built in Europe campaign along with Revolut, Lovable, 11 Labs founders. So
it's not a coincidence.
It's a big like milestone achievement for us. And I think like there's a common pattern in both of these cases. The primary reason is the founder market fit, I think, and the team market fit. It's something that we care deeply. Really, we this as I said before, we breathe, build what matters. Like what is the most meaningful thing we can build both internally and enable others to build these meaningful things. So I think, and this is feedback that we've received from both Antler, and we actually have an angel investor from Balderton, which is a tier 1 VC. They usually invest at Series A stage, but even while VC, they've come in as an angel because they believe in the team and they like the speed of execution. And like I've asked him specifically, like what are you excited by? And the first thing he says is the team, like and the speed of execution and how we progress, the way we interact with our customers, the way we think about the future of building. So for us, we're flexible in terms of specific solutions. We're not attached to a solution. We're attached to the problem and we're attached to this vision and future. So I think investors can see that. And that's much more important than the specific solution. They are excited by the solution as well. So they see the need for digital twins. There is market validation in other industries, like in FMCG, as I mentioned. So when they see that, they're like, okay, we want to be in this. Oh, product management, there is a great team that has a feed for product management. So I think our experience in product management, building companies in Silicon Valley, Europe, in Armenia. So it's I think it all adds up, and they see the synergy of the problem and the team. If there is one thing, that's the most important.
Yeah, I mean, it's not often one comes across this talent in one place. I think. So we have you mentioned a couple of things, so maybe elaborate. What makes Evidenso different from the other competitors that might be around in the same kind of space?
So two different dimensions to think about this. The first is the digital twin space. For us, we're not a digital twin company. We're a product decision company. We're a what to build company. So when we're compared to digital twins, this is the main differentiation. So because our use case is very specific, it's product management, it's deciding what to build. So most of the digital twins companies, they're trying to build this market research for FMCG. Like I've talked to a lot of competitors, founders. They're mostly they sell to schools, they sell to governments. Yeah, there's like political simulation. There's a company called Our Move. They do political simulations for social science and things like that. We're not about that. Like we are not going to go in that direction. And their focus is more on this behavioral layer.
Yeah.
So and then there is the second segment of companies, which is about product management, that they want to help you accelerate things. Like there is a company called Figure, or there is a company called Featurely. So what they do is they're mostly essentially trying to accelerate how things worked before. So the same product development cycle, helping you write PR days better, helping you write very niche tasks like within the product development lifecycle. So what we do is we provide this solution that taps the best out of both worlds. So we say we're the what to build company, and the key idea is that we are the market intelligence at the speed of building. So we are not digital twins for this at the speed of building. So digital twins is the core part of our infrastructure, but we envision ourselves like that. We will bring in AI agents that interview real people on our behalf to help you decide what to do.
Yes.
So that gives us the flexibility to be the layer that says, okay, so how to enable a product team to build the best possible feature at the fastest possible speed. So, and most companies are trying to tackle either one or the other. But as a product team, we do believe that we can do that. Digital twins is just digital twins with millions of different applications. So it's not gonna work unless you specialize in a very specific workflow. And we also focus on regulated techs as our primary beachhead market. We see interest from other fields, but by focusing on specific fields, we build this very deep market intelligence. And I think this is one of the differentiators as well. So what we do is like we collect a lot of data, we analyze that data, and we structure that data. So there's multiple levels of deepness, tech depth that none of the companies have. And I think that enables us to build great digital twins on external data as well. So most digital twin companies are trying to build it on internal data because it's high quality. But we essentially work with external data in a way that makes external data actually good enough and high quality enough to be useful.
Yeah, I love the way how you point out where build what matters company. And we're going to solve that issue and the solution underneath, which is very deep, but that can be flexible. So I think that's a great way to position things. Yuri, what would be the hardest thing for another company to replicate apart from the people, of course?
Yeah, I mean, from the technical perspective.
Yeah.
I think maybe repeat some similar things here, but maybe for that I a bit maybe in more details share some technical part of our product. But yeah, this feature that we named as market intelligence. So it's a special data structure with multiple layers that we are accumulating the knowledge for some specific society. And this part, I think, is the hardest one to replicate because it's like compounding technology. We are just iterating, we are accumulating data there, and every iteration we have some fine tuning, like we are carefully set up everything there. We are come up with ontology. It's actually representing as a knowledge graph of the market. What's happened there? What is the pain point of this like people, this society in the market? What are their workflows? How they think? How they work, etc. All this data is essentially for the product development, and this part is, I think, the hardest one. It's not. It's nothing that you can really like build overnight or like over weekend. You need to just accumulate this knowledge.
And by the way, every time our customers use the product, there is it's not only the compounded data layer in terms of how we do things, and every new additional mechanism that makes the data better, but it's also the usage. So whenever product managers or just engineers, even when they use our product, whenever they use it, there is a compound data loop. So they ask a question. For that question, our market intelligence becomes better because we have mechanism to build more data, and we see how people actually interact with the data that we give them back to we give back to the customers. So and there's also an ability to edit some of the product outputs that we give to customers, and product managers editing those outputs is a tremendous value as well. So we have access to data that others don't have. So I think that's the and there is a compounding effect of that.
Sounds good. Let's do a couple of shorter questions here. What's the biggest execution risk and how you are addressing it?
Biggest execution risk. I would say that it's a hard one. I would say that context management, it's mostly like a technical challenge, like with the digital twin side of things. So the feasibility, right? So the accuracy of the digital twins. It is an execution risk, but we handle it like with a lot of evaluation metrics. So we go and evaluate the data on a regular basis. We have our internal tools, by the way, where we can review the output of each graph in the knowledge graph that we're building. We review all the answers from the digital twins, like a sample, and us being very deep in the data and comparing the output to the historical data, like every customer we work with, we usually run tests on previously launched features to see the alignment. So we have an average of 80%, like digital twins help you predict essentially how successful the features are going to be. It's going to be like we need more data to standardize it across different industries. But us being very deep in the data, like being aware, okay, like this is not an easy technology to build, and this is why actually it's hard for competitors to do some of the things as we do. So so yeah, I think evaluation, being very deep in data, helps us create the handle the technical challenges that we face.
So let's say in 5 years from now, let's say you guys decided not to build this. What would the hypothetical scenario about you decided, do something else?
Yeah.
What would the world be missing for 5 years from now?
Yeah, I think it's hard to envision not building this because I'm super excited by the future of building, and the world is changing so rapidly, and being part of that changing world, especially in the building part, because that's what we've been doing like for a long time, building things and building both successful and unsuccessful things. And how do we make sure that we build more successful things? So I think some companies will try if evidence didn't exist, which I don't like that phrase at all. So they cross it out from the video in general. But let's imagine evidence was called somehow, so whatever. So I think companies would try to build digital twins, like generic, like digital twins. I think this technology will get adopted, and it will be adopted by some product companies as well. But it wouldn't be specialized like for product management use cases. It wouldn't be helping specifically the adoption rate. So I would say that if Evidenso didn't exist, then people would still ship more failed features in general. So because AI has made it easy to build, people like building, they build, but pausing and saying, okay, like what are we supposed to build? How are we build it?
Well, maybe you should target CFOs.
That's an interesting.
You're kind of spending too much on tokens here. Why don't you guys use Evidenso to see what you need to do?
Yeah, we've actually been thinking about cost optimization, especially these days. So you are spending $1 million on tokens, and out of this 1 million tokens, only 100,000 of tokens were spent on something useful. We can say, okay, we can reduce it to $500,000. But this language is like we have been in conversations with customers. It's good. People like it, but they like it more when you say, okay, we will enable you to build features that will unlock more revenue. So more revenue is better than reducing costs.
Yeah.
So we at this stage we position more on, okay, so with us you launch features that will bring in more revenue, reduce churn, and so your bottom line essentially increases. So we're ultimately very related to the bottom line and the profit.
See, I'm already kind of attracted to your, the vision already. It's somebody else.
Yeah, I think it's also like I just think about it in a fun question that you're asked, like what is the world missing? Can this be like evidence built exist? I think world is not missing, but it will be like populated with a lot of like unnecessary and useless features.
Okay.
Imagine if I'm not sure if this is the best metaphor, but when you asked the question, I started thinking on the back of my mind. So think of BlackBerry, Microsoft smartphones, right? So they are very like they had a lot of features, right? BlackBerry, the QWERTY on top, like they were convoluted, very difficult to use. And when iPhone came, iPhone like I think most of the features that iPhone had at the start were actually used by people, right? So even before App Store, very limited amount, like iPhone helped build better features, right? So we will have with Evidenso, we will have more companies like Apple. So because Apple is all about user experience, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they're super passionate about.
No doubt. Okay, one final question. If viewers remember one thing after this conversation, what should it be? Yuri and Vazgen.
I just some like things that was get shared today actually can like something new for me also. I mean, not just like part of technical of evidence, but his like knowledge about the investments and startups, etc. So I think this like some numbers that he also was impressed about this the percentage of failed
We're supposed to
features.
know that.
Yeah. I mean, and then maybe you already shared it, but today I think it's sticky to my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Vazgen?
So the one thing to take away from this session is build what matters, right? So that's what the company is about. This is what we think and breathe. So in this world of rapid building, of a lot of engineering code and waste, we are the platform, the product that enables teams build more meaningful features, more things that actually take off, and so we empower the future of building. So that's the main thing that we want to do.
Well, guys, thanks a lot for this interview. It has been very, very impressive to talk with you about this up close. I think commitment to the mission to build what matters is like very impressive indeed. And you've been able to assemble an incredibly strong team. I mean, the backgrounds just talk for themselves, but also kind of getting that alignment together. I think it's like it comes across very strongly. So thanks again, and I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot and seeing a lot of headlines onwards. So thanks a lot for the opportunity to participate and collaborate with the company as a person. So it's
Thank you so much. It was great being here.
Yeah, I appreciate it.